Hey, this is Troy Erickson from emaillistmanagement.com, and I'm pretty excited today because I'm talking to somebody that I actually met when I very first started online. It was probably, I don't know, 5, 6 years ago through a company called Hustle Island. And Patty found us through them, through Greg, who I was working with at the time. A lot of people have heard of Greg. And he helped me get my start. And Patty was one of our first members in our group, and she's gone on to do some amazing things. And I want to talk a little bit about her today and some wins that she's had lately. So Patty, how are you?
Great, Troy. How are you doing today?
I'm doing amazing. And so you're calling yourself an OBM, an online business manager, right? And you're doing this for different coaches, consultants, freelancers. Could you tell us a little bit more about what exactly you do?
Sure. It's kind of what don't I do? I tend to attract clients. Well, I do have some stipulations on the clients, but 6 to 7 figure, low sevens is the highest, who are solos and lean teams. And what they really want to do is they want to stay that way. They're happy with a small cohesive team and feeling like sort of an autonomy and freedom, but they need help managing day-to-day operations, setting up technology, replacing tech that's not working, managing their email lists, those sorts of things, hiring, finding freelancers, training, documenting systems and processes. So it's kind of this thing where people get into business, right? And they first start out, we're all scrappy and we're DIYing and we're duct taping stuff together. And eventually you're just like, shoot, I am my own bottleneck. How in the heck do I get to the next level of earnings without working another 80 hours a week? Because that's not sustainable. And people don't go into business to work 80 hours. So that's where I come in. I help them with the things they don't like to do so they can work in their zone of genius.
Very cool. Yeah, it's really important, the whole concept of stabilization, whether you're trying to really grow and scale. There's certain things you have to get in place before you do that, instead of just hitting the spend button. And then for other people, they just want to stabilize and you know what, business is good. I want to go enjoy my life and not pull my hair out every second. So exactly. Either way, it's definitely needed. So you mentioned email list management and email marketing in general is, really important to you. And you recently joined the email list management certification, and you mentioned that you had a few really good wins for some of the clients you work with.
I did. So the interesting thing was, one of the clients that I'm on retainer for was just having a real hard time with promos and open rate, going to promo, open rate, spam. We didn't know what the heck was going on. She was active campaign. It's a tried and true. So she had her settings set up so we thought correctly, and all the good stuff. Well, she had part of them set up right, but that was the person before me, which, I get to jump in and investigate once I saw your program and you were doing the done for you offer. And, she was so close to just hiring you guys. And then she was just like, I'm like, wait, they're going to sell it now. And then I can learn it and then I can do it for you. And we can save a little money, because solos and small teams are a little budget conscious. And I'm like, let's do it. So I did it. And then I immediately enrolled, and then I went on vacation for a month. So then I had to come back, learn it, do it, fix it. And literally once we solved the problem, or I should say, once I learned from the modules and did a little bit more problem solving outside of what I learned in the modules, then we spiked her open rates by 16%. And the very next promo she ran, which was a week after, we turned in 30,000, and it's on a list of only 3,000 people. So that was a huge save, and it made her feel really good about investing in the course, right? So that was the biggest win monetarily that I can quote, but it's mothers, so she went and bragged about me on social, and then people that I knew or knew her reaching out to me, and they're like, hey, I need to get out of promo. God, what's going on? So one of the people we had in common, I had taken a course from him, and he had a spike in 18% in open rates. And then his next offer, and then that was a month and a half before he was launching his biannual program. And so he ended up selling out in like 3 days instead of his usual 7. And because it's a limited group, right? So he attributes it to that. And I say, hey, that's great. Yeah. And then the other one, the other person that was a reach out, just somebody random, never met through the first client. She was just like sending emails from her domain-based Google, and they were going to spam, like they weren't, and she wasn't using like spammy subject lines or anything like that. And it's just her DNS settings, literally her DNS settings. It literally took me 45 minutes to fix. And
Yeah.
then, she's got improved her close ratio by 20% the first month and 40 the next. And she attributes to, hey, I'm not landing in spam and people don't think I'm a flake and not responding with these proposals that I'm putting to them. So.
Yeah, those are some amazing wins. Thank you for sharing. It's not only like a huge increase in open rates, not only a huge increase in sales, but also just like getting rid of that annoying factor of like, oh, you didn't get my email. Like, it's really bad because it's like you're replying to the people and they think you're not. And like, how else are you supposed to reply to them unless you have a different email or you call them up? And like, we don't always have time for that. But
exactly.
Those are some great wins. And I'm really happy to hear those. So what are some other things you see as an online business manager that you frequently have to fix, whether or not it's email? I'm just kind of curious, some tips that you would provide for somebody who's in your market.
That's a really great question. It kind of just depends on where people are in the process, but generally speaking, people just are not documenting their systems regularly or their processes regularly. And if they have made a stab at it, it's like maybe they hired somebody to do one thing and another person to do another thing. Because as I said, when you start out, you hire a lot of freelancers, right? You're just like task by task thing a lot of times when you first start to delegate. So you have this jumbled mess without like consistent logic or nomenclature. And it's not like organized anywhere digitally, like in a G Drive or a Dropbox. So gosh, a lot of times, even just the simple admin stuff is like, if you just did, I say simple because it's simple for me, but it's not necessarily simple for other people, right? But anyway, if you were to put a little order to that, it would make your life so much easier when it's the next time to like, oh, I got this new thing. I got to document like my offer. Like you're not even using templates, and it's just really, if like copywriters understand templates, but a lot of times business owners, even though they use copywriting when they're selling their stuff, don't understand like templatizing your processes. So really, if you can get into the habit of, even if you just record yourself on a voice memo or write it on a note on your iPhone or whatever other phone you use, you're at least better off than leaving it up here because it'll never get delegated and you will continue to bottleneck your growth if you want to grow your income. It's usually the income. Nobody wants to grow their hours, right? They want to scale back the hours and grow the income. So.
Yeah, that's a good point, because that's something that a lot of people try to ignore for as long as they can, because, documenting yourself at first, whether it's in a Google Doc or in a voice note or wherever, it doesn't make you money right away. But then later on, when you need to scale and nothing's documented, it completely blows up your chances of being able to scale. And that's something that I've gotten a lot better at lately, is just writing down things, documenting them, and somebody new comes in and makes life 100 times easier. So thank you for reminding people of that.
Yeah, there's one thing. Here's a really quick tip. If you have Zoom, which we are on, Loom, or any other free even screencast, when you're just starting out and you're doing a thing and you're putting things together, hit record. Just record yourself doing it. Talk through what you're doing. People might think you're nuts. It doesn't matter if you work in a co-work space, your home, whatever. But it helps, because literally, I can't tell you the number of people I've hired to delegate something. And I said, you're going to write up this process. This is how I do it. I want you to do it, write it up. And if you find a way to better optimize it, let's optimize it. And just let me know and we'll update the process. And that is the quick tip, is screen share, just record yourself while you're in the midst of doing things. Even if it seems like, oh, I can't have a process where it's like, oh, I'm creatively writing. There's always a process. So
there is, yes. Now, if somebody's listening to this and they're interested in talking to you about like how you can help optimize their business, maybe save them some time, help them scale, or maybe just take themselves out of the business, how should they contact you?
Well, funny you should say that. So I've reached a pivot myself where I was doing only retainer, and now I'm switching into more consulting and coaching, but I will do project specific work. And my site is in the process of being built. So the best place to reach me is to go to my new website. There's an opt-in form, and then you can get notified when things start to happen. I'm just opening my social channels and just doing all that. I'm just freeloading, right? So that website is Lux UX VIP, and that's LUXUXVIP.com. And there's a little story behind that, but maybe that's for another time.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, thank you, Patty. I appreciate it. Again, you're probably one of the very first people that I ever ran into on the internet. So it's pretty cool. Also, fun facts, you're in the Quad Cities. That's where I saw my very first Metallica concert. So that's another like OG moment for me. Yes. There you
I
go.
love them.
All right.
I went and saw them too. They're great. So
Perfect.
not
I
in
love
the
to hear
Quad
it.
Cities. I went to Chicago way back in the day. That's where I grew up. So, but yeah,
Amazing.
that's cool.
Awesome.
Nice symmetry we got there, Troy.
Yes, we do. Well, thank you, Patty. I appreciate it. And thanks for sharing your knowledge with everybody.
Thanks, Troy. Have a good one.